Hi folks, welcome to Truck King and the final video in the 4-part series that is the GMC Canyon Ghost Town Tour. So far we've discovered an abandoned prison, an old military radar station, and a massive open pit mine. We've got the wheels of the canyon spinning, and we found some incredible places and told some cool stories. Well, on the final day of our trip, we decided to just go off-road. This was less about finding an abandoned town and more about finding an off-road adventure. So come along on the final installment of the Ghost Town Tour as we head up Wolf Mountain. Alrighty folks, well, here we are now off-road at Wolf Mountain. Now, we wanted to come out here because we heard this was one of the tougher off-road trails in the area, and there's a gorgeous lookout at the top, so that sounded perfect for us. And just so you guys know, if you're wondering, we got Liam, cameraman, in the back, and that's Clayton from the city of Sudbury. He helped us find a lot of these locations and point us in the right direction, so he's riding along with us today too. And Dad's trying not to shake all of our teeth out of our heads, right?
Yeah, well, that's the point of the trail, right?
Yeah, and these are rocky trails. I mean, you know, this entire area known for mining. Well, no surprise then that there's loads of rocks, right?
Tons. You can come up here and take some home.
Yeah. So, talk to me about the canyon. We're in Fort Low. We're not locked up. We haven't needed to lock up yet today. But what are you feeling? What's the suspension like? What's the power like?
You know, the first thing right off the top of my head is you'll see the amount of stone on this trail, and we haven't hit anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the clearance on this truck, the lift that you're getting, you know, with these tires, that's great, because I'm more concerned about, you know, whacking stuff, and we haven't done that, so it's great for that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we have the rock rails, we have skid plates, but you're right, you haven't needed them, but it's nice to know that they're there.
Yeah, and you know, 4 low in this truck, I think you're going to use it more often than maybe in some V6 powered trucks.
Agreed.
Simply because the 4 does not spool up enough in high range early enough to be able to let you be smooth with your power. So
exactly, especially on steep inclines. We've been coming up these hills. It's just hard to modulate it smoothly. You're digging so far into that pedal. That's definitely one of the knocks, I think, like you said, against this Turbo 4. On road, you know, in regular commuting, it's fine, no complaints. But yeah, off road, when you need that torque, it's much better suited in 4 low.
Yeah, and so far, I mean, we're picking our way down now, and yeah, I'm in 4 low. I've shifted into first, and I'm just letting the engine brake, and yeah, it's doing okay.
It is, and I mean, this truck does have hill descent control. It does have terrain mode, so there are, you know, actual modes in here that'll help you down the hill too. But you can't beat old school gearing, you know?
Well, and
it's
that's
nice
where
to have the engine doing it and not working the brakes.
Yeah, that's where I go first. I mean, that's just what I've always done, and I'm gonna let my transmission do the job.
Exactly, yeah, because you don't want to overheat your brakes. You're running down a hill like this, you're always riding them. That can happen pretty quickly. So it's nice to have the engine and the transmission braking there for you. Now, another system which we've used today, and we'll even use it right now coming up this hill, is the camera system. So talk to me about the cameras. Have you been using them, enjoying them?
Yes, only from the point of view that, as you've seen when you come up here, there's a section where there's a couple of sort of concrete ramps that have been poured onto the steepest sections.
Mm-hmm.
Those were there to help logging trucks get up and down because they would just lose traction. So, but they're reasonably narrow, and they're, you know, old and broken. So it was nice to be able to see my tires, where my front tires were, because I didn't want to fall off, because it was actually a significant drop into the middle of that thing.
Yeah, that would have been bad. Yeah, that underbody view, being able to look forward at your front tires is legitimately helpful. It really is. Although you can also get that truck, or that camera, I should say, muddy pretty quickly.
Yeah, without a doubt, and I'm noticing that now. So then you just need to find another big puddle.
Yeah, exactly. Try to wash it off yourself. So just zooming in a little bit more onto the tires, this is a set of Goodyear Wrangler Territory MTs, and the MT stands for maximum traction, not mud terrain. This is an all-terrain tire. I feel like I have to put that out there. These tires have almost taken over the whole industry, Dad. Like every off-road vehicle from the factory, almost everyone offers Goodyear Wrangler Territories. And I think the reason for that, and we actually had a Chevy engineer tell us this on the ZR2 launch, it's a really good blend of a quiet on-road tire and then a good all-terrain, because we know, like the Goodyear Wrangler Duratrax, for instance, a great all-terrain tire, but a very loud tire. And we can be honest, they know these trucks aren't gonna live most of their lives off-road. They're gonna be on the pavement, so you don't want a tire singing away at you, right?
No, exactly.
And I think this is that blend. And then yeah, out here, I've seen them slipping a little bit on the wet rocks, but for the most part, the grip has been really quite good. So yeah, I don't really have any complaints. Maybe not the most aggressive off-road tire. If you really want to get into some crazy stuff, you might want to step up. But outside of that, I think for an OE tire, it's quite good.
And I think that's what we're talking about, because don't forget, of course, we're talking about a factory-built truck.
Totally.
No modifications, no aftermarket stuff, and it's taking on pretty much anything that we can throw at it. Mm-hmm. And as I said, and once we get out and we get back on the highway and we're driving back towards the city, it's quiet, it's comfortable, it's decent. I mean, it's really amazing what they've put together.
Sure, yeah, and the last thing that kind of sums all of that up is the suspension. Because these Multimatic DSSVs, you know, you get them off-road, you start really beating on them, and they just seem to soften up. They're not active, but that's the whole thing with the position-sensitive damping, is when you're digging into that travel, you just have this feeling of, oh, it's not really hitting me that hard. Doesn't feel like we've bottomed out today, and we are bouncing around all over the place. So again, the suspension truly is best of both worlds. Well, folks, we made it here to the top of Wolf Mountain, and the weather didn't exactly cooperate today, Dad, but you know what? A little bit of rain made it a little bit tougher out here because everything was slick and muddy, so it was a pretty proper test for the canyon.
Lots and lots of rocks to pick through, and that's where the low range in this truck has actually been working really well.
Yeah, absolutely. So this old trail here on Wolf Mountain, these are all old logging roads and roads that were created for the mining industry. Everything out here north of the city of Sudbury, there's tons of these trails. It's all on Crown land too, which is beautiful because that means anyone can access it, including this trail right here. This is all public. And honestly, compared to where we live a few hours south in the city, there is just so many opportunities up here for awesome off-roading.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty of it, because all these industries build these roads, but then once their leases expire, or you know, whatever, the timber runs out, the roads remain, and they're here for you to discover.
Yeah, and there is lots to discover, and you know what? We came up here, there's a beautiful lookout here on Wolf Mountain, and it's one of those things where you forget you're in Ontario. You get kind of sucked into this idea of Ontario being the city. Well, it is not the city, and we're out here to prove that today, and I think we did. While we didn't find a ghost town at the top of Wolf Mountain, on the way down we did find one of nature's hidden gems. After a short hike through the woods, maybe 5 to 10 minutes off of the main trail, we discovered this place, Paradise Lagoon. It's a series of small waterfalls and beautiful deep pools surrounded by granite rocks. Again, one of nature's hidden gems that we only found because we decided to head up Wolf Mountain. So this is the reason why you have to come off-road. Whether it is discovering a ghost town, an old prison, or just an absolutely gorgeous natural location, this is the part of the adventure that makes it all worthwhile. After getting some beauty shots of the lagoon, and a quick dip in the water on a crisp October day, we hiked back to the truck, feeling like we had found exactly what we were looking for out here on the trail today. One last thought I want to leave you with on the Canyon. It did perform well with all the off-road challenges we threw at it, and with all the technology and the gear on this truck, it's incredible what you can do with the truck straight from the dealership. But there is one downside to this truck that we haven't mentioned yet, and that is the price. As you see it in this video, this Canyon AT4X costs just about $69,000 Canadian. So yeah, for all that money for a mid-size off-roader, I better be getting a pretty capable truck. Now, this is not out of the realm with the other trucks these days. All of these mid-size off-road trucks are getting this expensive, but that doesn't make it okay, and it definitely does reserve a truck like the Canyon AT4X, not for the everyday off-roader who's on a budget, but for someone who can afford a little bit more. So yes, even with all of the technology and all of the gear here, 70 grand for this truck does feel a little bit expensive.
So we're coming to the end of our trip to Greater Sudbury. You know, we've been here, we've been to Burwash Prison, we've been up to Moose Mountain, we found the old Falcon Bridge radar station. So we've had some great adventures, and really the truck has been at the center of them all because, yeah, the truck gets you to all these places that you want to see. But you know, I don't know, Steve, what do you think? How's the truck been doing?
You know what it comes down to? On an adventure like this, where we did research, we thought we knew what we were getting into, but you're never quite sure. What you want is a vehicle that inspires confidence. You want to show up there and be like, you know what? I don't know exactly where this trail is going, but I feel good about my vehicle knowing that I'll probably get me out. And that's how I feel about the Canyon at the end of these couple of days. You know, it's done everything we needed it to. And of course, it's impressive off-road, but it's also comfortable and luxurious on-road. For sure, there's a couple little things that bug me about it, but overall, this vehicle, honestly, is suited for adventure.
I like you saying inspires confidence, because that's exactly right. Because we've taken a few wrong turns over the last couple of days, and the further in you get into the bush, my mind always goes there. It's like, it's not a question of getting in. Am I going to get out?
Exactly. Exactly. And then if I can leave you with one last word, it's just to say, go explore your own backyard. I grew up a few hours from where we're standing right here, and I didn't know any of this stuff existed. I didn't know about these ghost towns. Learning the history has been incredible. There's so many amazing stories. And yeah, that's the one piece of advice I have. Go explore your backyard. You don't have to fly to the far-flung reaches of the earth to find pretty cool adventure.
Absolutely. And if you're listening down in the States, come on up and spend your money.
Exactly. So yeah, that's it for this video and the series. So please go below into the comments. Let us know what you think about all of the places we've been, the truck, everything we've done, what you'd like to see in the future, because we're always looking for new adventures to take on. And then of course, while you're down there, don't forget to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, hit join to become a member of Truck King, and then come back to the channel to see what we're testing next. See ya.
Thank you.